Hi, this is Carol Ray with Notary Pro, and what we're going to be going through in this short video is acknowledgments and how to fill them out. I do find that many of the new notaries do have questions about the acknowledgments, and I thought showing you how to fill this in would be very helpful for you. The first thing that you need to know is what is an acknowledgment. It is a formal declaration before a public official that one has signed a document prior to recording real estate documents, such as a security instrument and deeds. A notary public acknowledges the person's signature on the document and verifies their identity. Most of the documents that require notarization contain the acknowledgement on the document itself. However, sometimes there are times when it will be necessary for the notary to attach a separate acknowledgement to a document. What I'm showing you today is a notarial acknowledgement, which is actually used as a separate acknowledgement. As you can see, there's a box in the bottom half of this, which we'll get into later, and that is not usually included on an acknowledgement that is a part of a document. The first blank line that you're going to see requires the state to be completed. Now, if it is blank, what you're going to be doing is putting in the state where you are actually commissioned. If in the event they have a state in there that is not the state where you're commissioned, what you will do is you will put a line through the state that they have written in there. You will cross that out and then put in the name of the state that you are commissioned in. The next blank line that you will see will be the county, and that is the county where the signing is taking place. And again, if they have an incorrect county in there, you're just going to put a line through it and you're going to put in the correct county. The correct county is where the signing is taking place. It is not the county where you are commissioned. Always remember that what you put in there for this venue, which is the state and the county, is the county where your feet are planted while you're doing the signing. It's an easy way to remember it, and you really have to pay attention to what you have in the venue, because an incorrect venue on a notarial acknowledgement can cause problems for everyone involved in the transaction at some point in time. You could end up in court over it. So just remember, the state is where you're commissioned, the county is where your feet are planted while you're doing the signing. The next thing you'll come to is the date. After the word on, you're going to put the date of the signing. This must be the same date that the signers are appearing before you. You must never vary from this, and don't ever let anyone threaten you and tell you that they need a different date on it. If they want it dated a couple of days prior or earlier, that's called backdating. Backdating is illegal, and you don't want to ever do that. You will have occasionally somebody will threaten you, trying to intimidate you to put an earlier date on the form. And the only thing I could suggest to you is that you tell them that that is your notary commission on the line, not theirs. I've had stories given to me that, oh, it's so sad, the borrower's going to lose their loan if you don't backdate. They've threatened me with blackballing me, and I'm like, boo-hoo-hoo. It's my commission, not yours. I'm not going to break the law for you or anybody else. The next blank that you see may be after the words before me. After the before me, you're going to put in your name. And you need to put your name in as exactly as it appears on your commission. If it's on your commission, Deborah A. Smith, that's how you have to put it in there. You cannot put Debbie Smith. It has to be the same as it appears on your commission. The next thing that you'll see will be personally appeared. And after that, there's oftentimes typed in the names of the signers. If that is not typed in and completed, then you will need to put the name of the people that have appeared before you. Now, this is an area where a lot of notaries do not pay attention, and this is kind of important. This area describes how many people and what their gender are. And this could be a detail that is called up in court if you do not complete this. And the way that you do it, let's say for instance that you have a husband and wife are appearing before you. Then what would you would do in this area, the third paragraph down, is you would circle the word they. You can also cross through the word he and cross through the word she and circle the they, so that this paragraph would read, start at the beginning, who proved to me on the basis of satisfactory evidence to be the persons whose names are subscribed to the within instrument and acknowledged to me that they executed the same in their authorized capacity, and that by their signature on the instrument, the person or entity upon behalf of which person acted executed the instrument. Somewhere on most of the acknowledgments you will see penalty of perjury. This is where you are certifying under the penalty of perjury under the laws of the state where you are commissioned that the foregoing paragraph is true and correct. Now, if you receive an acknowledgement and it has another state in there, you may need to do one of two things. Need to find out if you can cross it out and put your state in there. You'll need to check with the vendor, or you may have to attach a completely new separate acknowledgement. You are not responsible for taking an oath under the penalty of perjury that you're going to obey the laws for another state, because the states do vary in their laws. So again, if it's another state, find out how they want you to handle it, whether they want you to cross it out, put your state in, or do a separate acknowledgement. If it's blank, then you just put in your state and it makes it real easy. Now, last but not least, on most acknowledgments when they're a part of a document, is that there is a line for you to sign. And then under the line, you'll want to print your name. And I would do a comma, Notary Public. They will very rarely, if ever, actually have your name on that area of the acknowledgement, because they don't usually know who the notary is. Now, this is also the same area where you will put your notary stamp or seal. Usually it's to the left, but just find an area where there's plenty of room for it. It must be near your signature, however. Now, this is the box that I mentioned, and this is only on separate acknowledgments. And this is so that if you have a separate acknowledgement, it can actually attach itself to a particular document. So the first thing that you're going to see here is the type or title of the document. Let's say, for instance, you are notarizing a deed of trust. You will want to put deed of trust on there so that when the acknowledgement is completed, they will attach this to the deed of trust. Therefore, it cannot be used with any other document. If you don't do this, if you don't put in this information, someone that is unscrupulous could use that notarial acknowledgement and attach it to just about anything. The next thing that you see here is the date, and this is the date of the document. Let's say that deed of trust was dated June the 25th, and you're doing the signing on June the 27th. The date that will go in there is the date that's actually on the document itself, not on the notarial acknowledgement. The next thing would be the number of pages in the document. So let's say that, for instance, you have a deed of trust and it has 18 pages. Well, the number of pages in that document would be 18 pages plus this acknowledgement, which attached to that deed of trust becomes a part of that deed of trust. So the number of pages that you would put in there would be 19. Now, last but not least, there's a place for additional signers, and if you'll note, it says other than those named in the notarial certificate. Let's say, for instance, you have two brothers. One is in Minnesota, one is in California. You are handling the signing for the brother that's in California. Therefore, his name is going to appear on your acknowledgement. But what they want here is the names of anyone else who may have signed the document whose names do not appear on your acknowledgement. So you would put the brother's name who is in Minnesota. Well, I hope this helps. Once you get used to doing these acknowledgments, it'll be a piece of cake. There will be times that you'll run into something that's kind of odd, and you'll need to question something about it. There might be some extra spaces, some extra documentation in there that they want information about. But I think this covers the basics. I hope this was helpful.